Hey everyone, today I want to talk about something really important to me. Toilet Tower Defense. This game has been a huge part of my channel's growth, taking me from 0 to 15,000 subscribers. But lately, I've noticed something troubling. Toilet Tower Defense is slowly losing its appeal. The updates feel repetitive, and players are starting to get bored. In this video, I'm going to break down why the game is struggling and share my thoughts on how it could be improved. One of the biggest problems right now in Toilet Tower Defense is the massive number of bots flooding the game. While the player count shows 40,000 plus players online, the reality is that a lot of those are bots. In fact, it's likely that the number of real players is only half of that. Bots are everywhere in every lobby, and they're having a huge impact on the game. Bots are grinding for gems, crates, and coins, and they're messing with the economy. They create a skewed environment for new players, because when they enter the game, they're surrounded by bots that aren't engaging or answering questions. It's frustrating for newcomers who want to learn, but the only interaction they get is from automated accounts. Imagine being new, asking how to play, and getting no response. That's a big problem. Bots aren't just a minor issue. They're influencing everything from the game's economy to the player experience. Something needs to change to make the game feel more alive and welcoming again. The second problem is the gameplay itself. Players like me, who have stacked units, don't know what to do anymore. I mean, it's so lonely at the top, LOL. But jokes aside, stacked players are getting bored. We have nothing left to do with our inventory, and we're just waiting for a good update that rarely comes. We have so many gameplay modes right now. Tons of maps for Nightmare, endless mode to get Trash Ultimate. Right now, the game survives mainly due to PvP mode, since stacked players can finally do something, which is crush each other. But what about the noobs? They're always crushed by the stacked players, and even after we get the new ultimate rewards in PvP rank, stacked players are going to be bored again. The third problem is that Toilet Tower Defense just isn't newbie-friendly. Imagine a game that can't attract new players. That's the death sentence for any game. New players are essential. Without them, the game is as good as dead. So why isn't Toilet Tower Defense drawing in fresh faces? It's plagued by bots and scammers, as I mentioned before. Plus, the developers aren't promoting the game as much anymore, and honestly, who knows why? New players are the lifeblood of any game. They keep things exciting for veterans and fuel the in-game economy. Newbies are the ones who test out all the different units, but without them, who's going to use those lower-tier units? You really think veteran players are going to waste their resources on those? Nope. It's the new players who make the game feel alive. The fourth problem is a common one, the pay-to-win mechanics. I get it, if you pay, you should get something good. But the units you get through spending money just feel unfair. The reality is, the majority of the Toilet Tower Defense player base is made up of kids who don't have access to a lot of money. So imagine grinding for a whole month, still not having any good units, only to watch your rich friend effortlessly collect them all. It's honestly kind of depressing. Now imagine spending months grinding for a top-tier unit, only to see some wealthy player buy it outright for just 350 gems. That's a tough pill to swallow. The issue of duping, where players exploit bugs or loopholes to duplicate units or gems, creates a major problem in games like Toilet Tower Defense. This can really undermine the experience for everyone, especially for players who are trying to play fairly. The most frustrating part about duping is that it devalues the effort you put into acquiring top-tier units. Imagine spending a significant amount of time or money to unlock a rare or powerful unit, only to find that other players are getting the same units through exploitative means. Worse, if you buy a unit at a slightly discounted price, you might end up getting a duped version, one that is essentially worthless. These duped units often get wiped from your inventory when the game developers step in to fix the issue, leaving players who bought them feeling cheated. For players who work hard or spend money to obtain units, it's disheartening to see these duped units flooding the game. It ruins the economy of the game, makes it harder to obtain legitimate units, and destroys the sense of fair progression. Additionally, when duped units are eventually removed, it leaves players feeling like their investment was pointless. This kind of exploit also creates imbalance in the game, where those who cheat can gain an unfair advantage over players trying to follow the rules. It leads to frustration, disappointment, and can even drive players away from the game entirely if they feel the system isn't fair or secure. The issue ultimately hurts the integrity of the game and its community. The sixth problem is the dreaded game lag. For many kids who want to enjoy the game, the reality is that they don't have access to high-end devices. They're often borrowing their parents' phones, and let's be honest, those devices aren't built to handle heavy games. Imagine this. You finally convinced your mom to let you borrow her phone for just an hour to play. But as soon as you start the game, it's lagging all over the place. The screen stutters, your units freeze, and you're just sitting there watching the game crawl along, knowing your time is ticking away. Would you really want to keep playing with the clock running out? Probably not. This is a huge issue that really needs to be addressed. The seventh problem is the 2-week update cycle. For creators like us who make videos about toilet tower defense, updates are crucial for keeping content fresh and engaging. 2 weeks between updates is a long time, especially since we can't just repeat the same content every day without losing our audience's interest. It also feels like a long wait for veteran players who are just eagerly sitting around, hoping for something new to dive into. In short, a 2-week update cycle could work if there were more communication from the developers. If they gave us update leaks or shared some sneak peeks, it would help keep the community engaged and give players a reason to stay excited. Transparency and communication are key, and improving this aspect would go a long way in maintaining the game's momentum. So, I really hope the devs take the time to fix the issues with the game because toilet tower defense can still be saved. It's a game that so many people love, and it has so much potential to be even better. However, if the problems we're facing right now aren't addressed, it's going to be hard to keep players engaged in the long run. I really hope that Talanthric, the developer, is locked in enough to understand the concerns of the community and take the necessary steps to fix these issues. We've been patient, and we just want to see the game thrive, but it's becoming harder to stay motivated when it feels like our feedback isn't being heard. The game has a solid foundation, but the gameplay experience for stacked players is becoming stale, and the noobs are constantly getting crushed in PvP. It's frustrating for everyone involved. I truly believe that with the right updates and balance changes, the game could get back on track and provide something for both new players and veterans. But this can only happen if the devs acknowledge these problems and put in the effort to fix them. I really hope Talanthric is listening to us and working on a solution. That said, if anyone else has issues with toilet tower defense, I encourage you to comment down below. We all need to make our voices heard, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get the change we're looking for. If not, maybe we'll need a revolution to finally get the attention of the devs, LOL. Let's all work together to help improve the game we love.